Look, in this game, there was a lot to like. I think for me, the big thing that I like is more the macro, is that you're coming off of a game against Pittsburgh where you really didn't have enough energy. Yeah, maybe you were tired, but you still didn't come to play the way you needed to come to play. You lose Tyson Forrester. So not only do you have to make a statement after a disappointing game against a rival, you also have to show that you're going to be able to overcome the loss of a really important player. And they go out there, look, the Sabres are not a very good team. They did not look like a very good team, but the Flyers took care of business. Number one, they played hard. And number two, they did it in a group effort. This was not one guy carrying the team. This was a bunch of guys, a lot of the guys who they need to step up. Now that Tyson Forrester's injured and he's going to be out for at least 2 months, a lot of the guys who they need to step up. As Rick Tocchet said this morning, there's a lot of guys that need to step up about 5-10%. You saw a lot of that tonight from guys like Konecny, guys like Mishkov, guys like Cates, guys like Brink. I thought it was an encouraging victory on a lot of levels, but especially because of the timing.
All right, Charlie. The thing I guess I need to know is why is this team in love with scoring goals in quick succession? They love giving up the first goal and they love scoring 2 or 3 within about a minute. Is this something is there something about the makeup of this team that makes it possible? Like they're just a real front running vibes based team like that? Like, is this something that's come up in post game discussions at all with anybody?
I mean, Bill, the answer to your question is it's random. It's hockey. It's a sport played on ice with a bunch of guys with knives on their feet. But I mean, the only thing I can say, and yeah, of course, we've asked the players the question, and they're just like, I don't know. It's great to score a lot of goals in bunches. That's fun. If we could do it regularly, we would do it every single game, or we've been doing it for the last 10 years if there was a skill about it. No, a lot of it's just taking advantage of other teams' mistakes, jumping on it. I do think, though, and this is a conversation I've had with a few guys over the last week or so, is that I think that this team, especially the vets on the team, the ones who have kind of been through it for the last 6-7 years, I think they've learned from the mistakes of the past. They've learned from their propensity, let's say, in past years to maybe get a little too high and then a little too down, to let one goal, snowball into four. And it seems like they're learning their lessons. They're drawing upon past failures. And maybe that plays into why they've been able to take advantage of other teams when they slack off a bit, because they've done it, because they've seen what they've looked like in past years when they've let one goal get in their heads and then they blow another shift and then it leads to another goal and then they get down on themselves and then it leads to another goal and then the game's over. Because to me, watching this Sabres team, like this Sabres team looked like the Flyers team from 3-4 years ago. The team that, like, when one thing would go wrong, they'd panic, and then by the time they woke back up, the game would basically be over. That very much reminded me of early 2020s Flyers. This team does seem to be a little bit different. That Sabres team, it was kind of like looking into a little time machine mirror, where it was like, oh yeah, I remember when the Flyers would regularly do this, and thus far this year, they not only haven't been doing things like that, they've been the team doing it to other teams, which has been cool.
You see, Charlie, I ask you a question that you think is asinine, and then you eventually lead to a great answer. You see, there's a method to all this. I know they don't know how they do it, because how would they? But there is maybe no team in hockey that knows better what a team on the ropes about to screw up badly looks like than the Flyers themselves, Chuck.
Game recognized game, Bill.
Yeah,
game
absolutely.
There we go.
We got to ask about Cam York. He left the game. He didn't play after like the 3:15 mark of the second. Was there any update on Cam York?
Yeah, not really. And I think we just got to get used to this. Like, Tocchet is not going to provide updates after games. He was asked, Tocchet said no update. He was asked, so what actually happened? It seemed like he was implying that it wasn't via the post Zegers hit scrum. Even though that was York's final shift, he doesn't see another shift the rest of the game after that scrum. He said it was something about like a hit behind the net at some point. There was someone in my mentions that threw me a video. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but it looked like he took like a hit up high from somebody earlier on in the second period. Maybe that's what it was. Taka did clarify it was upper body. Hopefully it was more precautionary than anything else. They were winning the game by a lot. They do have 3 games between now and their next game. So maybe it was like, well, why push it? He's clearly a little hurt. Let's just pull him out, give him a day or two to recuperate, and then he'll be fine. I hope so, because he's been pretty darn good for the Flyers this year, especially defensively, I would say, in taking tough minutes and on the power play as well. So you don't want to lose him. And especially right on the heels of losing Tyson Forrester, you don't want to lose another, top third of the lineup guy, let's say. We'll see. Didn't seem terribly concerning, especially if it was an injury that happened earlier in the second, and then he not only continued to play through it, but also decides to put his body on the line to defend his teammate Trevor Zegras in a scrum. Like, hopefully it wasn't that serious, but I guess we'll have to wait and see.
So, Charlie, when you joined, what we were yelling about was the Dahlin hit on Trevor Zegras in the second
Okay.
period. Wanted to get your thoughts on the game misconduct call on Dahlin and the hit itself.
I mean, it's a bad hit. Like, it's clearly a penalty. It's clearly a board. To me, the interesting part about it was, and we talked about it a little bit a few minutes ago, is just that it was an example of a team. This is the team captain. Like, Rasmus Dahlin is one of the better defensemen in hockey. I'm a big Rasmus Dahlin fan, but the team captain can't be delivering a hit like that when you're down 3 goals and putting the team in position to at the very least be shorthanded for 2 minutes, if not 5. Like, that's just that's bad leadership on the part of Dahlin. Plain and simple. Now, should it have been a 5-minute major? It was borderline. I mean, it's a dirty play. He's staring at the numbers, and the fact that Zegras is down on the ice for, a minute after the hit probably does add to the refs wanting to give him 5. I probably would have given him 2, but I think it was a bad enough hit that you put yourself in that position. Yeah, sometimes you're going to get 5. So it's hard for me I'm not shedding a tear for Rasmus Dahlin here. Like, don't be stupid.
No, I think they said this on the broadcast, but I do believe kicking him out of that game, a big part of it was, the Flyers are up big. This could turn into an S show if we leave him in this game. Like,
Especially Delorier's
yeah,
in there tonight.
Yeah, like Delorier's in there. We've already seen he and Josh Dunn mixing it up a little bit. Like, I think maybe there was a part of them that was like, yeah, we just want to get out of here. We're not trying to break up 9 fights tonight, too. So, like, maybe that was a part of it as well. But that's what I was yelling about when you joined in, because I was tweeting that Hathaway need to cross-check somebody in the head to make up for it. Because I'm not a professional, and I tell everyone that straight out. I am a fan watching these games. But that's I kind of shared the same. Like, it's a dirty play. I don't know if it's a 5 in a game, but in terms of game management, yeah, probably the right call there. Charlie, the fourth line. I don't want to talk about negative stuff, but like the fourth line's taking penalties and everything. Do you think we're going to see Carl Grundstrom in there soon?
Yeah, I think so. I would have to believe that, because as we talked about after the injury, I don't think they see Nick Delorier as an every night player. How could you? He's not an every night player. I call him a specialist. He's an enforcer. His job is to create energy, and his job is to fight and fight the tough guys on other teams. Like, that is his job. That's not a job that he needs to play every single game. Carl Grundstrom got called up yesterday. I get why you're not necessarily going to throw him right into a game. Like, he hadn't even had a full practice with the team. Now you've got 3 days in between now and your next game. Let me put it this way. I would be surprised if Carl Grundstrom is not in the lineup for Sunday against Colorado. Number one, because I think they know that Delorier is a part-time player. Number two, I don't think you want Nick Delorier against that speed demon of a team in the Avalanche. I think you want at least a guy who can bring a little bit more pace to the table.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to that one. That's going to be, I'm just looking forward to seeing the Flyers up against like the unbeatable monsters. Like, they're probably not going to win that game, but I want to see how tight they can make it. Chuck, I just want to know how, we know that when you asked, an unprompted question about Vladar earlier in the season, TK was like, well, we have 2 really good goalies, but Sam Ersson tonight stops 27 of 29. I'm starting to grow more confident in him. He's starting to round into what is at least like an adequate goaltender. Are you starting to feel more confident that we're going to get a decent game out of Sam Ersson when he's in there? Because I know the guys are always going to say that they do, but when you see Sam Ersson right now, what are you seeing?
Yeah, he looked fine. He made some real good saves in the second period when the Flyers dipped a little bit, and Buffalo ultimately cuts the game to 4-2. Then the Flyers scored to kind of put it on ice soon after. But I thought he made a bunch of big saves in the middle of the second period when Buffalo was really pressing, the one time in the game when they really looked alive. Ersson was fine. He had a good game. I wouldn't say he was one of the 3 stars, but he had a good game. He did his job. I actually have already written in my my 10 observations piece, rough draft, that Ersson needed this game, but so did Ersson's stats. because
Yes.
this was the kind of game where, you're playing against a team in Buffalo that's just peppering away with shots. They're fired away because they're down. They're not, trying only to get high quality chances. I don't think this is going to boost Harrison's stats up to being respectable by save percentage quite yet, but it's a game that will boost it a little bit. Make his numbers not look as terrible. I thought he was good. And you mentioned about Travis Konecny. Yeah, Travis Konecny, did bring that up. He got asked a question about Harrison, and he was like, I've been telling you guys, we trust both of them. And Sam Harrison proved me right tonight. I believe that was his line. Sam Harrison proved me right tonight. We have full faith in them. We play hard in front of both of them. So just pointing that out, that Travis Konecny is going to ride or die with this stance that they have two really good goalies, not just one.